Lew, you were, maybe we should move back to you and your work in the civil rights era.
Yes, I can't say it was really work. It was participation.
Okay. You're good at those words.
Well, it was during the time I was in college back in Maryland, and it was in the early '63 that there was of all things, a Dairy Queen in Cambridge, Maryland, that would not serve people of color inside of the Dairy Queen. And a group of us, with the prompting of one of the local pastors, and it was an AME church, that organized a group of the college students to come up to Cambridge and protest. And we marched around this building. We had rocks thrown at us. We had water hoses sprayed on us and dogs after us. But we continued this for about 4 weeks. I don't think that the Dairy Queen ever gave up on their segregation attitude at that time. But I do recall many years afterwards, I went by that same Dairy Queen because it was located right on Route 50, the same Route 50 that we have coming here in Sacramento. And I passed by, and all of their care was at the window. There was no inside portion to this Dairy Queen. If that's victorious, I don't know. But I do know that there was a change. So that was one of my involvements with during the civil rights era. Well, I mentioned briefly about my father asking me to go to that high school, to a different high school when I was a sophomore in high school. Well, that would have been a major shift. So that concept of becoming a part of the greater community was always present. And I've been part of that in one way or another all my life, even in the military.
Interesting. We've got at least one caller here. Hi, you are live on KVMR.
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing great.
I appreciate all the comments and the memories that everyone is sharing. And the reason I'm calling is because I am a Black and Hispanic woman living here in Nevada County. And I moved here with my 2 boys that are Black and my mom who is Mexican. And we've had quite an unusual experience living here the last 6 years in Nevada County. And I realized after I moved that Nevada County is 98% Caucasian. But I didn't look into that before I moved just because we came camping here. It was so beautiful. We loved the Yuba River, the green trees, the blue sky. And the opportunities for education. There's so many alternative education, schools here. So as soon as we got involved, my children soon realized we're the only Black children in our school. And some of the families were very welcoming and absolutely loved that we were there. And some of the families were very closed and very negative and brought, I wouldn't use the term racism, but definitely let us know we were different and unwelcomed. And we felt, it was almost 50-50, where some people were so embracing and so glad to have us aboard, and other people gave us the silent treatment or looked the other way or had negative words to share. We had a neighbor that came over the first day we moved into our house and said, "Why are you here? This isn't for you. Don't come on this side. Don't look at us." I was shocked, really. We're in 2000, I don't know what year, moved up 6 years ago. But from the first day we arrived, we were definitely made aware that we weren't welcome with many people. But I have to say, oftentimes when people see us in town, I'll have conversations of, there's not too many Black people that live here. What's your experience like? And people want to talk about it. And my children will say, why do they ask us that? And it gets redundant.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, for the most part, Nevada County has forward-thinking people that we've met so many artists, so many people that have traveled the world, people that my children notice, we're the only children in our school that are Black or of color that aren't adopted. And I think I've maybe met 4 Black women here in my 6 years that live here, that have children. But it's just very interesting life to live. We go back home. We're from Los Angeles. And I often give my children experiences of multiculturalism, whether we're in Asian neighborhoods or, my mother's from East LA, so they spend a lot of time around Hispanic people. And there's not we don't stand out there. It's just we blend in. And when we come back here, we definitely notice that we stand out. So even though it's not racism in a negative fashion oftentimes, there's still this, you're different. And there's the embracing or the not. And one of the things that is interesting to me is that my children, when they have white children speak to them, oftentimes they won't use regular conversation. They'll use words that they've heard in hip-hop or words that they see in the media, and it's a yo rather than a hello. And with our youth, I'm not sure how here, where it's mostly Caucasian, they will learn that we're just people. We're not what the media has entertained us with, and we're not something different because of our skin color. Martin Luther King's message of judge us by our character, not the color of our skin, hasn't truly sunk in this time and in this place, Nevada County. So that's my dream still. And my children can grow up, even though they're not in a place where there is overt racism, and that they are accepted in so many ways and loved in so many ways, but that they can just be accepted for who they are, the content of their character, the soul, what they have to offer, the work that they can do, and who they are as people, rather than when they are still seen from the outside, judged from the outside.
We're very happy that you gave us a call. Now, Bill and Jamal, Bill and Jamal, aren't you two working on something about racism in Nevada County?
There was an article.
All three of you.
There was an article in the Union newspaper on July 4th about a family that was discriminated against in our area, and because of our concern about that, Jamal and I got together and shared an interest in doing something to help people unlearn prejudice in our county. And since then, Lew has also come to work with us, and there have been other people that have come to meetings we've had that are also supportive in that endeavor. So it's our intention to find ways to help with unlearning racism and prejudice, and look at the deeper causes of prejudice. Racism is just a symptom. There's a deeper cause of people needing to be able to open each other, to connect with each other, and open their hearts to each other. And part of what we want to do is to find ways to work with school children and help young people grow up with an open heart and an open mind. So that is a project that Lew and Jamal and I are working on in this county in our own small way.
Maybe we can close out with a couple of comments here.
One of the things that I believe is important in dealing with this issue of racism or racial prejudice, whatever we want to call it, is that when people see things like that happening, someone has to be brave enough. If, one white person sees a bunch of other white people disrespecting someone else based on their difference, somebody else needs to stand up and say, hey, you know what, that's not cool. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that kind of behavior. Don't do it. The more people interrupt that kind of stuff, the safer it becomes for everybody. It's very difficult when that is a part of your landscape and it's part of what your experience is to just ignore it. Although at the end of the day, we have to do our thing, live our lives, and spend time with the people who do love us and who do care about us. But it's also very difficult to ignore those kinds of things when they happen on a regular basis, especially as a parent. I can deal with a whole lot of flack coming my way from people who are prejudiced. But when it happens to my kid and I have to look my kid in the eye and try to explain to him something that is really inexplicable and just out and out wrong, and when I see the pain in his eyes trying to figure that out, yet hard to ignore that kind of stuff. So if you can do your part, if you ever see, acts of prejudice going on, please stand up and say something and be a part of that process of healing and growing.
I agree with that. I think that anytime we can break the cycle of the continuation of prejudice is always important. That's a prime example of it. My era probably grew up accepting more of that than any young person would today. And I'm glad that the young people are standing up and saying no to that type of behavior. And I hope that as we move on, other people will start to say no to that type of behavior. I know I had a recent incident that my wife asked me why didn't I challenge it. And I said, I've always thought that maybe the next time this person would understand by my silence that what he said was inappropriate. But I think that the young people are now willing to stand up and say, whoa, that's not good. That's not acceptable. Don't do it again.
I agree.
I think maybe one way you could say it is that there are those out there who believe in the future, and there are those out there who are trying to live in the past.
That is correct.
Sounds good.
Well, I want to thank you three gentlemen for coming in here today and doing this. I think we could have probably gone for another hour.
Sure.
Jamal Walker, thank you very much for taking your time off today, and a happy King Day to you, and a happy King Day to Reverend Lew Powell, and to Bill Drake for helping put this thing together today. We appreciate that.
Thanks for having us.
Can I make one quick shout out here before we go?
You got it.
All right. I got to say happy birthday to my Aunt Nettie today, 70 years old.
All right.
And if you ever get a chance, listen to the Jamal Walker Blues Band. They're really great.
Who's in that band? Do you know? Do you know anybody?
Some guy by the name of Jamal.
Okay. All right. I guess we should have had some of your music right handy here to play, but
maybe next time.
All right. Hey, well, we will do it next time.
All
do you
right.
think so? Let's figure that out.
Thank you
maybe
very
even
much.
a year from now, and just see how things have changed or not.
Well, that'll be great. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. This is KVMR FM, Nevada City.